Hello students. As you know, we are preparing for term 2 examinations for the board examination 10th class. For that, I have brought you today the lifeline of national economy. Today, we are going to this chapter is the introduction of the lifeline of national economy. In this chapter, we are going to study about this, that is, transport plays an important role in the economy. Because of transport, raw materials reach the factory and finished products reach to the consumer. The pace of development of a country depends upon the production of goods and services as well as their movement over space. Therefore, efficient means of transport are prerequisite for fast development. You might have thinking that why Achna ma'am today is reading so fast. Is she showing that she can read well? No. I'm going to explain these lines in my few words. Okay. Transport is not only this. If we are talking about the lifeline, that means what is the lifeline? Means the life of any economy. Lifeline, the Indian railways, Indian transport, communication, they are if we want to run our economy or any in country economy, for that two things are very much necessary. That is the demand, consumer demand location, production by the industry, that is supplier, the interconnection between each other. These interconnection are done by two things, that is transport and communication. Once again, I want to tell you that the demand and the supplier, okay, when the interaction between the the thing which makes interact between each other, this supplier and demand. If the supplier has a lot of things, lot of produced things, but how can he know that where is the demand? And if there is a lot of demand in the market of anything, any product, how can the demand people or demand places, they know about where these suppliers are? For that, two things are very very important, that is communication and transport. Transport, which transport the product to the demand people, and from the demand and the communication brings the things that to know about where we can get the supply of the things or where we are having the demand. The pace of development of a country depends upon the production of goods and services as well as their movement over space. So, trade is the only when, therefore, transport, communication, and trade are complementary to each other. Transport, trade, and the communication, they are complementary to each other. Trade cannot develop without transport and communication alone cannot do anything without transport. And if there is trade, there is transport, and there is communication, then it is very easy to transfer all these trades. Trade where earlier, as we know that trade were restricted to limited space. Why? Because of the lack of transport, because of the lack of communication. Today, the world is converted into a large village. Why do we say large village? Large village means in village we know that in villages everyone know each other, and in this way the world has become to know each other without going there. Even we know where America, Europe, everything, we are able to know that what is going on there and what product they had a demand and what type of supply they can give us. These things can be known sitting at your home only. So that is why it is called the large village with the help of this efficient and fast moving transport and communication. Apart from transport, the ease of mode of communication like the telephone, internet makes continuous flow of information possible. So, for that, you have to know about the first of all, before studying communication, we are going to study about the means of transport. Means of transport are three. The main three means of transport are, that is, on land, air, water. So today we are going to study about the transport of land. Today, India is well linked with the rest of the world despite its vast size, diversity, and linguistic and social cultural plurality. Railways, airways, waterways, newspapers, radio, television, cinema, and internet means some in the above line you can see that there are the transport things, and the other second line is showing that it is the communication, have been contributing to its socio-economic progress in many ways. How? The trade from local to international levels have added to the strength of its economy. Now, sitting at your home, your mother might be very good in crafting or some threading things on cloths, but she can sell these things to the other countries. How? By Facebook and all these social media, internet and all. They can put her these things on the Amazon and all that. We have studied about this. These are things on which we can sell all these things, and we can buy many things from the other countries also through the internet. It has enriched our life and added significantly to growing services and facilities for the comfort of life. Means of transport are land, water, and air. In land and water, for the land transport, we will study roadways, railways, and pipelines. In the land, we will study roadways, railways, and pipeline. For the water transport, we will study India, inland and overseas. Inland and overseas. What is inland and what is overseas? We will study in that part only. Inland waterways are the waterways inside the country, and overseas means the water transport outside the country. Then in air, that is domestic air, airways and international airways. Some airways which the air crafts which can travel in between the country, that is called the domestic airways, and some airways go out of the country, they are called the international airways. Domestic airways, they are of two types, that is public undertaking and private airways. Airlines. Public undertaking means some of the airways are controlled by the government, and some airways are also controlled or managed by the private or individual or the group of people, they control it. Today, now we will study in the roadways. India has one of the largest road network in the world, aggregating to about 2.3 million kilometers at present. India has one of the largest, it is not the largest. Underline this line, one of the largest means many largest railway road network are there in other countries also, but India is calculated as one of the largest road network. That is, it contribute 2.3 million kilometer at present nowadays in the world. In India, roadways have preceded railways. In India, you know that roadways are preceded than railways. Why? May I know that? Because of many reasons. We will study about that. Because of many reasons why the roadways are preferred than the railways. they still have an edge over railways. They are considered over to the railways. As you know that railways can carry in a large amount of passengers, large amount of goods. Then also the roadways are preferred than the railways, in view of the ease with which they can be built and maintained. And now because of their ease with which we can contribute, or we can contract with the railways. The growing importance of road transport versus rail transport is rooted in the following reasons. Construction cost of first point is construction cost of roads is much lower than that of railway lines. As you know that for the construction of railway lines is cost lot of that, whereas in the construction of roadways has less cost. The next point is roads can traverse comparatively more dissected and undulating topography. Topography means in the hilly areas, where are some of the places hilly areas, plateaus, or over the rivers and all that. The roads are traversed comparatively dissected and undulating about the topography. The next one is roads can negotiate higher gradients of slopes as much as such as traverse mountains such as the Himalayas. In roadways, we can make roads as going to the slopes, okay, by making it in the slopes. But railways cannot be made on the slopes of the hills, because the track will be not made on these river mountains. Road transport is economically is in transportation of few persons and relatively smaller amount of goods over short distances. If we need smaller goods to the transport in other place in a small distance, then railways will be very costly for that, economically costly, but roadways will be not so costly than the railways. The next point is it also provides door-to-door service. Thus, the cost of loading and unloading is much lower. Road provides door to door means that does not mean it will come on your gate. Truck will come on your gate and it will give you. Yes, truck also comes on your gate for transport of your goods and services, everything they can give you at your door also. But railways cannot bring all the materials, all the goods to at your home places also. The next one is road transport is also used to as a feeder to the other modes of transport, such as they provide a link between railways stations, air and sea properties. See, the roadways, they are the link between the big transport or other transport systems like railways, airways or ship. The things which comes, the goods which comes on these transport, they are loaded in the roadways transport, and the road transport brings the things to the factory, company or the individual things. So we can say that it is the mode of the between the railway stations, air stations, seaports or. So this is the importance over the why the roadways preceded railways in India. The next one is, in India, roads are classified in the following 6 classes according to their capacity. According to the capacity, roadways are classified. As you know that geography is a classified geography. So we have to study about the classification. On the basis of their capacity, we can classify the road in 6 senses. That is golden quadrilateral, national highways, state highways, district roads, other roads, border roads. Golden, see, you can see in the map. See here from Srinagar to Kanyakumari. One highway is going on. It consists of north-south corridor. It is called north-south corridor. Okay, and the east-west corridor connects from Silchar here in Assam, Silchar to the Gujarat Porbandar, and from Sri North South corridor, that is Srinagar to Kanyakumari. It is linking these two up and down. These are corridor in the golden quadrilateral super highways. In that golden quadrilateral, you can say four metropolitan states, cities, that is Delhi to Kolkata to Chennai, Chennai to Mumbai, and Mumbai again connect to the Delhi, and this makes a shape of quadrilateral. That is why it is called as a golden quadrilateral super highways. What is this golden quadrilateral? The government has launched a major road development project linking Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Mumbai, and Delhi again by 6-lane super highways. The north-south corridor linking Srinagar, that is Jammu and Kashmir, to Kanyakumari, and Tamil Nadu, east and west corridor connecting Silchar, Assam, to Porbandar, Gujarat, part of this project. The major objective, why these kind of super highways are launched by the government? Because it is to reduce the time and distance between mega cities of India. Means some of the special work and all these work are necessary. So for the reduce of the time and wastage of the time, we can take help of these roads. These highways projects are being implemented by the National Highway. So while studying the roadways, we have to see, or we have to point out in your notebook that the roads which connects from which state or which city to which city, and the next one is the roads are maintained by which authority or which way. Okay, that is the golden quadrilateral are managed by NHAI, that is National Highway Authority of India. It is controlled by National Highway Authority of India. It connects from Srinagar to Kanyakumari, Silchar to Porbandar, then Delhi to Kolkata to Chennai, Chennai to Mumbai, Mumbai to Delhi. These are the connection of this golden quadrilateral super highways. The next one is national highways. National highways link extreme part of the countries. These are the primary road systems and are led and maintained by CPWD, that is Central Public Work Department. A number of major national highways run in north, south, east, west direction. The first, or the National Highway 44 3745 Srinagar to Kanyakumari, which is called super highway. This is also considered as a national highway. The distance between the Srinagar to Kanyakumari is 3745 kilometers. They are called National Highway 44. The next one is state highways. State highways connects the road I have told you that we have to see that the roads connects to which place and how they are managed by which society. That's all. Roads which are connect state capitals with the different districts headquarters are known as state highways. These roads are constructed and maintained by the PWD or SPWD. D, that is State Public Work Department in the state or union territories. The next one is district highways, district roadways. These roads connect the district headquarters and other places of the district. These roads are maintained by the Jilla Parishad. See, the connection are given. District roads are connected district to the other places of that district only, and these are controlled by Jilla Parishad. Other roads, rural roads which link rural areas and villages with towns are classified under this category. These roads received special impetus under the Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana. The rural roads, the other roads are controlled or managed by Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana. Under the scheme, special provision are made so that every village in the country is linked to a major town in the country by all the season motorable. The last but not the least, that is border roads. Apart from these, border roads organization, a government of India undertaking construct and maintains roads in the bordering area of the country. Even the government of India controls or manages this organization, or this organization name is BRO, that is Border Roads Organization. It is the government organization which controls the border of the road of the border. This organization was established in 1960 for the development of the roads of strategic importance in the northern and northeastern border areas. North and northeastern areas, they control over there because they are connected with the other countries' land part. That is why the border area is connected by the road also. These roads have improved accessibility in areas of difficult terrain and have helped in economic development of these areas. The Indian, it's wrong. Okay. This point is not in the roadways, so I am not reading it. I will tell you in the railways. Then, what about the term road density? What is road density? Means how we calculate the road density. We can say that in some places of our country, the road density is very less, like Jammu and Kashmir or the eastern states, and road density in the plain area or the peninsular area is very heavy. Why? How we calculate it? The length of the road is per square kilometer of area is known as the density of road. Means how we calculate, that is per hundreds per square kilometer, how many roads, how much road pass there, they are calculated. They are called the density. Distribution of road is not uniform in the country. Density of all roads varies from only 10 kilometer in Jammu and Kashmir. See, in Jammu Kashmir, we can see the density of roads is 10 kilometer as per the 375 kilometer in Kerala. See, here 375 kilometer for 100 square kilometer of land. If we see for the 100 square kilometer of land in Jammu Kashmir, the roads are only for 10 kilometer. Whereas in 100 square kilometer of land, the roads are 375 kilometer in Kerala. This is called the density, with the national average of 75 kilometer. The calculation is this data is taken up to the 1996 to 97. Road transportation in India faces a number of problems. Means everything. I have earlier also told you that in every field or everywhere, the challenges or limitation of everything has there. So we have to overcome of this. Before overcoming of these challenges, we should know the challenges of these things. Means the roads are having also, they are facing many problems. What are these? Keeping in view the volume of traffic and passenger, the road network is inadequate. Means road network is very less keeping to the population or the traffic. About half of the roads are unmetalled and this limits their uses during the rainy season. In the rainy season, they limit the use of these roads. The national highways are inadequate too. In the you can see that national highways are in numbers. So we can say it is very inadequate. The roadways are highly congested in cities and most of the bridges and culverts are all old and narrow. So the next one is we have studied the classification of roads on the basis of capacity. So one thing is also there, classification of roads on the basis of material used, how they are made. There are two types of roads according to the material used, that is metal road and unmetal road. They are made, the metal road are made of cement, concrete or even bituminous of coal. Therefore, these are all weathered road, means all weather, in all weather, even in monsoon season, they do not get off of the roads, whereas unmetal road, they are made of mud and sand, they therefore go out of use in the monsoon season. Thank you very much, students. We'll meet you once again.